and his quest for pure acceptance, as well as the love of a pert humanoid bitch. I'm in the doggy sense. The answer is
wow.
Going somewhere, Pop?
Sure are. It's a vacation with me and my best buddy.
Donald Duck?
No, silly. With you.
It's Goofy.
Give me a big
Stop goofing around. In an outrageous full-length animated feature.
We'll spend some real quality time together.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
Walt Disney Pictures presents
Come on, this is gonna be fun.
the story of a father who couldn't be closer
That's the spirit, Maxie.
This is embarrassing.
to driving his son crazy.
This is pathetic.
Now, they're getting a crash course in becoming best friends.
It's Bigfoot!
Could you back up a bit, Mr. Foot? You're out of focus.
This spring, one of Disney's favorite classic characters lands at theaters in the most hilarious
It's the Leaning Tower of Cheesa.
and hippest animated musical comedy ever.
A little smoke.
A Goofy movie.
Morning, son.
Dad!
It's hard to be cool when your dad is goofy.
You look just like I did at your age.
Please don't say that, Dad.
I think we should lead with, this was supposed to be airborne.
It was
and
supposed to be
we
airborne.
left this up to the people.
The people have
and
spoken.
the people decided a Goofy movie.
Well, like far and away, like not even close.
Yes, it led the pack by a wide margin.
Yeah.
And this is, other than Little Rascals, I think the most wholesome movie that we have seen.
It's
Would
very
you
wholesome.
agree?
Very wholesome.
There's no like curse words or anything even like remotely problematic, I guess, except for maybe one thing.
One hello is about as close to a swear as it got.
But having said that, I don't know that I have had more hot takes
Oh, yes.
and have been torn
Excellent.
in more directions. And
Good.
I don't know if that says more about me or this movie.
It's good. It says a lot about both of us because you watched this when you were younger
Yeah.
and I did not.
Really?
I watched this like Charlotte was 5 or 6. Like this was not that long ago that I saw it for the first time. Yeah.
Oh man, then this is going to test some of my theories.
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, good. I can't wait.
Well, let's get into some taglines and plots then. When Max makes a preposterous promise to a girl he has a crush on, his chances to fulfilling it seem hopeless when he is dragged onto a cross-country trip with his embarrassing father, Goofy.
Yep. And I found one more. It's lengthier.
Okay.
But I like this one too. Let me know what you think. Though Goofy always means well, his amiable cluelessness and klutzy pratfalls regularly embarrass his awkward adolescent son Max. When Max's lighthearted prank on his high school principal finally gets his longtime crush Roxanne to notice him, he asks her on a date. Max's trouble at school convinces Goofy that he and the boy need to bond over a cross-country fishing trip like the one he took with his dad when he was Max's age, which throws a kink in his son's plans to impress Roxanne. And that's just the movie.
That's
the
you got from
entire
beginning
movie.
to end.
I don't even have a basic plot described poorly.
No? Oh, that's too bad.
All right,
I might
you
have
do? Please.
Well, the taglines I found were, it's hard to be cool when your dad's goofy. It's the story.
That's true.
It's the story of a father who couldn't be closer to driving his son crazy.
I like that.
Meet Max. His girlfriend's a babe. His best bud is cool, but there's only one problem. His dad's goofy.
The last part is the only true part of that. He doesn't have a girlfriend.
Roxanne. Well, I guess, yeah, that's the dance.
And his friend is not cool. Which friend? PJ?
No, I think it's the Chad, who wasn't in the movie a lot, but I think was supposed to have a bigger role. Joey Lawrence played his voice, and he's only in it for like a couple of snippets.
Don't even know who that is.
Exactly.
I saw Joey Lawrence.
Exactly.
I don't even know who that is.
I think he's in like 2 scenes because he had a whole other subplot that they cut. So I think that might. It's
not Pauly Shore.
It's not Pauly Shore, and it's not PJ. So I'm assuming it's Chad.
Plots done poorly.
A dad who is losing touch with his adolescent son successfully salvages their relationship by going on a road trip together. Just kidding. Max is a dick to his dad the whole movie, and Goofy just takes it because being a good parent means you take shit from your kids most of the time.
I have so many loaded thoughts, hot takes. I don't even think I agree with that.
No.
I think Max...
The other way.
Okay, first hot take.
It's burning.
I was expecting to be on Team Goofy more as an adult.
Sure.
I saw this as a kid. I have now seen it as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go through what Goofy does.
Okay.
He is reckless. They almost get hit head on by a semi because he is not paying attention.
Yeah.
He knocks over a fire hydrant before they get to Roxanne's.
True.
He's recording Max with a camcorder while driving.
Oh, that's very... Yeah,
he
that's
assaults a mime with a piano. He falls off a balcony at a baseball game and crashes into a dugout. And then he apparently doesn't put the car into park, and it rolls down a hill into the Grand Canyon.
I think he put the car in park, but not the e-brake on. Who stops a car and doesn't put it in park?
Goofy.
Come on, Goofy. His name might be Goofy, but come on.
They both have their faults.
Yes.
Goofy's trying way too hard. Mm-hmm. Max is a teenager.
He doesn't want to try at all.
Also, there are so many little things he does for his dad throughout.
Yeah.
So you're not wrong. He is kind of a dick to his dad, but it's loaded. This is great. This is a difficult relationship. And I thought as a parent, I'd be much more like, Max, just go on a trip with your dad.
Yeah.
Come on.
But you're Team Max.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe I'm Team both or neither.
For all intents and purposes, I think I lean towards Team Goofy. And as much as I thought the other way, where I thought...
And that's what I thought I would do.
Well, then maybe by the end of this podcast, we'll know. Maybe we'll know what the answer is. Or we'll just reside in the middle.
I'm fine with that too.
It's a Disney movie, so aside from Angels in the Outfield, you'll find it on Disney+.
Yes, you will.
The rating is G. Some notes on the rating. We see Roxanne's dad's butt crack very briefly when he turns around to go back in the house. However, this has been censored on the Blu-ray and Disney Plus printings.
Oh, thank God.
There is some nudity with some female characters wearing clothing that shows their thighs. That's not nudity. I have to think this is someone's super religious aunt who writes these out on IMDb, because there's just no... I don't understand the...
If it weren't for their clothes, they'd be nude.
Have you seen the thigh on this whore?
Wow.
In the very beginning of the film, Max has a dream and sees the girl that he has a crush on, Roxanne. She is wearing a seductive dress that reveals much of her thighs. One shot is focused on her buttock underneath the dress. No nudity is shown. She almost kisses him. We're getting the play-by-play on like everything. But the last one I enjoyed is no profanity, but there are a few arguments between Goofy and Max that might make some people sad. I mean, their arguments might make some people sad.
You are really stretching for this.
Okay, the year's 1995. The director is Kevin Lima, who is famous for directing Tarzan, Enchanted, and 102 Dalmatians.
Cool. Who can forget?
Who could forget it? He also wrote Aladdin and Oliver and Company.
I didn't know that.
And he was a character designer on Little Mermaid, Lion King, and The Brave Little Toaster, and several others. So he's gone up the ranks. The three writers were Jim Megan, Chris Matheson, and Brian Pimenthal. Jim is responsible for writing DuckTales, Tailspin, and Darkwing Duck.
Ooh.
Chris Matheson wrote all the Bill and Ted movies.
Ooh.
And Brian Pimenthal wrote Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, and Bambi 2. The sequel you didn't know you needed. And
I didn't need
so,
it at
So
all.
that is the group that
that
have come together for a
pretty
Goofy
solid
movie.
trifecta.
I mean, they've got more than enough experience in putting together a movie.
Wow.
So an hour 18. Gotta love that. Gotta love that runtime.
I saw 2 different times too. It said an hour 22 on Disney Plus. On IMDb, it said an hour 18.
Okay,
so I don't know.
Even in the middle, it's an hour 20. Let's just call it. Yeah. So still a nice and succinct.
Yeah. It is very tight.
We're cooking, which we'll get into. It's referenced in some of the reviews. Lovingly. So.
Please, and if
you don't just wait. Just wait. It's so good. It's so good. No, it's so good.
Okay.
The budget was $18 million. It grossed $37.6 million. So we doubled. We hit on this movie. Rotten Tomatoes, 59%. Lower than I thought it would be, considering how many people find this movie to be a cult classic.
And on IMDb, it's 6.9.
Which goes the other way.
That's pretty high for the movies we've seen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The Metascore, sitting at a 53. It ranges from 75 to 20. Still no 0. I haven't had a 0 in a while, but sitting at number 75, Our friend Roger Ebert.
He gave it a 75?
75, 3 out of 4 stars. This is incredible. This might be his best work to date. This is incredible.
Is this like I played the video game and I beat it?
Just sit. Okay. Just strap in.
Good God.
Is Goofy a human or a dog? I once met Bill Farmer, who does the voice of Goofy, and he gave me the definitive answer. Pluto is definitely a dog. Goofy is sort of the missing link between dog and man. I realized the human potential movement has gotten completely out of hand when I heard Goofy telling Max they needed to spend more quality time together. Goofy is a single parent. Someday I would like to see a cartoon about the court battle he went through to gain custody of Max.
There.
I'll take that spinoff. All the animated characters in Disney movies have a thumb and 3, not 4, fingers. Is it true that Walt thought this was a good idea because it makes it impossible to flip the bird? What does the bathroom look like in Goofy's house, and how does he use it? This is all part of
What on earth are you talking about?
The most unhinged review of his. It's so good. How many stars would I give a Goofy movie? Well, at the time they stopped the show, the star meter was clicking at just a shade under 3 stars. For some subtext, in the middle of the movie that he watched, they had an issue with the projector, so it stopped. So then he had to go back and watch it another time. So this is why he's referencing at the time that it stopped. But let's round it off to 3 and call it a day. That may be a goofy way to rate a movie, but Goofy is as Goofy does. Footnote.
What on earth are you talking about?
Footnote. Since writing the above, I've had an opportunity to see the rest of a Goofy movie.
Oh, thank God.
In which Goofy and Max meet Bigfoot, who does a John Travolta imitation, dancing to Staying Alive. There is also a dangerous trip down rapids, a visit to a rock concert, a sweet reconciliation between Max and Roxanne, and a subtle background moment when Elvis turns up in a diner. 3 stars still is about right. Roger Ebert.
That is nonsense.
Your
What
best
the hell
work to
did
do.
fingers and flipping the bird have to do
Going
with
to the
anything?
bathroom. What's the bathroom look like in his house? He was severely unhinged for this review. And all those words come together to say 75. 3 out of 4 stars. One of my higher ratings when it comes to kids movies.
All right, to bring this back to like the real world,
Yeah.
something that did go over my head when I watched as a kid is that 99% of the characters in this movie do appear to be dogs.
Yeah.
That went over my head. I don't know why it's not a full 100 though. Like I was looking for it then because very clearly Roxanne, PJ,
Right.
all those friends, they're
Right.
all clearly dogs. Goofy's a dog.
Yep.
There's always been this debate between
he,
like,
though?
why is Goofy? He very clearly a dog.
Roger, the man between
Roger
the
needs
link
to-
between man and dog.
Just go watch something else. Maybe you shouldn't be reviewing kids movies.
Incredible.
I can't even get over that. That's insane. But there are moments where it's like, okay, that's pretty clearly not a dog. Again, there have been debates about why is Pluto kind of more of a dog than a
Yes.
human and Goofy is more of a human than a dog. Maybe because it's a cartoon. Who cares? But it does seem weird that it's all dogs. Like this world exists where it's just
Yeah.
dog everything, except when it's not.
Right.
And so that part is
And
that, I
Bigfoot.
guess. And Bigfoot. He didn't seem to be a dog either.
There's questions. There's questions to be had. One of mine was, where's mom? We're just fully not addressing.
I have trivia.
Okay.
Trivia and facts.
So, in Goof Troop and the 2 Goofy movies, Goofy is a single father to a son named Max. His wife from the 1950s shorts never appears in the show or in the movies. Max's mother is never discussed. So he has a mom in the 50s,
Okay.
and then they were just like, who
She
cares?
splits town.
Yeah, I don't know. Splits town, doesn't exist.
She does the old O'Shea mom move where she's not interested anymore and
She gets
books
cancer and dies.
it. Okay, that I will draw the line on. Yeah.
Well, and we've talked about so many of these movies where it's single parents
Yep.
and there's no explanation. Even if it's a kid named Junior and where's dad, it doesn't matter. So
Doesn't matter.
fine, that follows suit.
Yep.
Or you got Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't matter.
I think that's what they're hoping for. They're like, don't ask too
look
many
too hard.
questions. Powerline song.
Why do they have 3 fingers?
Where are they
Doesn't
peeing?
matter.
So some other reviews. Empire gave it a 60. They said, harmless enough day in the sun for Goofy. Pity there's an overwhelming feeling throughout that he deserves better. So he's
Who
team
he?
Goofy. He deserves better because Max is treating him like shit.
Does
Empire
he?
agrees. It's right here in black and white. Jim.
That's, well, okay.
Baltimore Sun gives it a 50. A Goofy movie is filled with rock sequences that aren't hard enough to please real teenagers, but are too hard to attract any grown-ups. The music sounds like it was composed by Marie Osmond on PCP.
Whoa.
50! A 50! That's still a 50.
Do you not enjoy the music in this?
I thought the music was, And I stated clearly, one of my hot takes is that I think the music itself is probably half the reason people like this movie, just the songs.
All right, I'm taking it the rest of the way. My hot take is no one likes this movie. They like Powerline.
If they cut that song out of if they cut the music out of the movie and they just made it a movie, I would be curious to see what the rating would be of this movie. The music really is carrying it.
Let me say this.
Yeah.
I was disappointed that the entire song doesn't play at the concert at the end. They're
fair.
like jumping around.
Yeah.
I wanted the whole thing.
Yeah, give us what we want.
And then I'm like, wait, they just start at the middle of the concert? How did they get inside? When we finished the movie, I was sitting there going, I don't know that I liked it. And then I'm replaying the whole thing in my head, thinking, okay, what did I dislike?
True.
It's so wholesome. It's so, like, there's nothing you can even really be upset about.
No.
Everything works out.
Yeah.
They are good friends at the end. Roxanne likes him. She
Yep.
understands everything. She's like, well, why did you lie to me?
Yep.
Oh, I liked you best when you laughed like your dad. You do the perfect cast. It puts a neat little bow on all these issues that were started at the beginning. Max comes to term with his dad kind of being off the wall.
Yep.
And then Goofy gives him space and finds like they're able to make that work.
True.
So there's no reason to dislike it.
Well.
Having said that, I think that most people, when they're like, oh, great movie.
Yeah.
If you ask them, what do you like about it? They're going to say Powerline.
Powerline's in that.
He's the
description for
movie.
sure. Yeah.
I could even have my own Powerline movie.
Yeah.
Just give me a whole album.
I think people would watch that. If anyone liked this movie because it's become a cult classic, if there was a spin-off for just Powerline, 100% are watching
Or just
it.
show me that concert. Just show me every song. I will watch the cartoon
Fair.
concert of Powerline.
Fair. That's fair.
And I'd probably have a more favorable rating toward that.
Yeah. 2 more ratings for you. Entertainment Weekly gave it a 50. For parents, the burning issue ignited by a Goofy movie is, will it buy us 78 minutes of peace and quiet? Provided the kids are old enough to follow a wandering storyline that centers on single father Goofy's adolescent son Max and his quest for pure acceptance, as well as the love of a pert humanoid bitch. I'm in the doggy sense. The answer is
Wow!
I saw that and I was like, what? Wow. All these, we've got Marie Osmond on PCP. We've got, we're calling bitches. We're like this, all, Ebert's
giving the
review.
finger.
I mean, it's, every review is like completely unhinged.
Okay, I thought I'd have the hottest takes.
Leave it to
That
the
pales
journalists.
in comparison.
And the last one I put was the Austin Chronicle gave it a 20. They said if a Goofy movie was 1/5 as demented as Tiny Toons, it might have been worth watching. Instead, it is a bland, a barely television length cartoon stretched out to fill a feature and not much fun. I will digress there. The movie's fun. It's going down water rapids, it's concerts. Like,
it may not make sense.
No, but if you're talking about how fun the movie is, it doesn't sit there and do nothing.
I think they poke fun at themselves really well, too.
Yeah.
You see Donald Duck and Mickey at one point on the side of the road, or Max says at the beginning when Goofy goes, oh, I'm going with my best friend. Oh, who, Donald Duck?
Yeah.
The keychain has the D on it for Disney.
Lots of Disney drops, yeah.
I mean, it's what is unfun about it.
The Austin Chronicle found it bland.
And what did they say about a bitch?
Everyone was unhappy. The journalists were unhappy. But awards, was a Goofy movie eligible for any awards?
I saw it was nominated, including Best Animated Feature, but it had no wins.
Okay, but nominated's better than nothing. It's
Sure.
not, I don't see it wasn't nominated for a Razzie or anything, so
Not that I could find.
not that I could find. But the cast, there's a lot of voiceover cast, but in terms of names, we've got what we said earlier, Joey Lawrence, who plays a character who appears in the movie maybe 2 or 3 times. Wallace Shawn Vicini from Princess Bride. Like, that was an excellent little pop-up that I was.
Can we talk about Wallace Shawn real quick?
Please.
I just feel like I haven't given him enough credit through the years.
He's so good.
So you already brought up Vicini from
Yep.
Princess Bride. Mm-hmm. Can you name, other than Goofy movie, 3 other roles that he's in?
He is... he's the voice of the dinosaur in Toy Story.
Yep, Rex, that's one.
Is he in a movie with Billy Crystal? No, maybe not. Maybe
I mean,
can't.
Princess Bride.
Oh, that's true. I thought, or like my friend Andre. Isn't there like a Andre that? No, I got nothing. I thought I knew more.
He is Bob Parr, Mr. Incredible. He's his boss in Incredibles.
Right. Yes.
He is also Mr. Hall in Clueless.
Yes.
So those are 5 roles, and that was just from a brain.
Right.
That's not even like his IMDb. I'm sure he's
Yes.
random characters because he has such a recognizable voice.
Yeah, his voice from a mile away.
I just feel like, wow, he has really been in a lot.
Yes.
And when you hear his voice, you go, yep, That's
the one.
There he is.
Vegas Vacation. He's a blackjack dealer. My Dinner with Andre. The Incredible. Yeah, he's
in
acting.
a bunch.
216 movies to be exact, or 216
That's it.
appearances.
All right, let's take it from the top.
The opening scene, we've got Roxanne running through the field. Do you know what movie I thought of immediately?
Ladybugs.
Because of course it.
Yeah.
Because immediately I was like, oh, this is Ladybugs.
Yeah.
This is-
Just no Rodney Dangerfield making inappropriate jokes.
Hey. Roxanne's thighs. I see him. Hey, whoa,
Careful where
whoa.
you put those 3 fingers.
So immediately I was already brought into a good, calming world of Ladybugs
Like,
to set
this
the stage.
isn't Ladybugs,
Yeah.
thank God.
But then it flips and it becomes the nightmare, which made me then think of Little Rascals, where they're having their nightmare. Where they're so I was already
yeah.
getting like our past movies. They're all coming together. A good movie, a bad movie.
Okay.
So I'm just telling you where my headspace was.
Good.
But starts off, Max is late to school. The room is messy, classic tropes. And immediately Goofy is vacuuming up the clothes. And I said,
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, but how do we not? It's the year 2024. How do we not have a vacuum that cleans up our clothes? Like, let's sharks.
Because this
I'm
is
here
from
today
95.
to pitch you my.
This is from 95. I don't get the whole, like, Goofy's got the towel up high.
Yeah.
His ears are in a towel. Why are you
Silly.
vacuuming? Max is late for school, but you're unaware of that. Like, they really lead hard into, like, Goofy is unaware of what's going on.
He's pretty
Just
goofy,
let
that
him mind
movie,
his
yeah.
own business.
Yeah.
It's odd.
Yeah, well, they have to set the stage. Goofy.
And they do.
Is Goofy a good dad? Question mark.
No.
At the end, you'll decide that maybe he
No,
is.
still no.
But I love the musical opener. Introduce the characters, goes through the town. Summer's kicking off. You know, it's another one of those montages that we get that's like, all right, let's meet everyone, let's see everything, and
Same with
here we are.
Heavyweights too, where
Yes.
it's the last day of school.
Yes.
And I wrote that went over my head as a kid. Last day of school.
Yep.
Didn't realize that.
No.
And Goofy just jumps into hard. Let's go on a road trip. Oh, you get home from school? We're leaving.
I will say, for all my love and being in Goofy's corner of this movie, that Goofy, you can't
Too
give
much.
someone 5 minutes notice and say we're leaving now. Not
I hope
like
you didn't
in a
have
few days.
plans because we're gonna be gone for a few weeks.
Did you make plans with a girl that you like? Too bad. Here we go. Yeah. But I will say, one of my early hot takes, aside from our addressing that Powerline pretty much is the foundation
man.
to this movie.
Yeah.
They all get up in the song. They say no more Jim, and they're all excited about that. Was Jim not fun in school? Like, was that not a fun part of the day? I remember enjoying Jim.
I think it depends on the age.
Okay. So
And
maybe it's not a hot take.
That was something else too. Max is 14. Something, and all right, that's like a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
So that changes some things. Yeah, you're very focused on the other gender. Maybe Jim, you don't want to get all sweaty.
Yeah.
Although I was all in.
I was already sweaty. It didn't
Yeah.
matter. I just came to school sweaty.
Just let's do this.
And to your point, so he's 14 years old. There is a line later where when they're going down the rapids, and he says to his dad, "I'm a man. I'm my own man now." And I was like, "You're
Can
you're in
you
high
even
school.
grow facial
You're
hair?
in high school.
Relax.
Easy, Max. Take it easy." This is where Max gets the harebrained idea to pretend to be Powerline to impress Roxanne. Which there's a lot going on there. So this was it gives you the impression that this was like the day of kind of a thing. Like bring your camera. We're gonna film this.
Oh,
no. There's a lot in the
They've
works
been
here.
planning this for
They
a
have
while.
Fire extinguishers. They have ropes. They got a projector
The
behind them.
video.
It's well thought out, and not the lamest thing to try to impress a girl. I'll say, you got to give him his credit.
Fog machine. They got aerial activities. He is flinging around on that rope. Doesn't
Shoot your
work
shot.
out
Yeah.
quite well. And that's one of my first answerable questions. What was the consequence of the concert? Because it's the last day of school.
Right.
So you can't really put him in detention.
They did talk about detention, but I didn't think
But
about it being
nothing
the last day of
happens.
school. Yeah.
And then my first, is it problematic?
Oh, excellent.
I'm problematic.
The principal says to Goofy on the phone, I would seriously evaluate how you're raising your child before he ends up in the electric chair.
Yeah, that's a bit strong.
Wow. I
a bit
get
strong.
it's frowned upon that you hijacked this assembly that no
Sure.
one cared about prior to you doing this. But all said and done, it didn't appear that anything was broken.
No.
It wasn't
No one got hurt.
inappropriate.
Yeah.
So this is maybe a slap on the wrist at best.
Yeah, maybe worst
don't-
case scenario, you suspend him, but that's
But electric chair?
electric chair's a little strong.
It seems a bit. I don't know what state they're in.
And I will say, during that same section, my problematic note was that he said he's dressed like a gang member, which I felt was very lightly coded for how he felt about certain things and people. So that to
Dogs.
me, So between the electric chair and that, it definitely was. That was probably the one problematic chunk. Was just that.
That's
little,
honestly all I could find because everything else is so wholesome.
Right,
But
yep.
lighten up.
Yeah.
The electric chair.
Easy principle.
Come on.
We show Pete and Goofy. They're kid photographers. That's their business together. I'll say, a genius idea. Pete, for as much as I don't like him,
He sucks.
he's terrible. He puts the baby on the table with the Velcro on the butt. And at first, I was like,
Genius.
I tip my hat to you, Pete.
Yeah.
I don't like you as a character, but that is thinking.
Well thought out.
It does backfire a little bit because then the baby gets out of her diaper and runs down the
Another butt crack. Hope that was blurred out.
I will say, in my thinking, I was like, is this the most like risque Disney cartoon thing? Like a butt? Like I can't think of other Disney movies where there's butts out. So.
I think too, it's almost implied because they're not like zooming in on it or anything.
Right. So they're trying to keep it from a distance.
A
It just
kid's
goes a little
giggling.
bit-
Yeah,
Sure.
it's like, oh,
I don't.
okay.
I won't say it's problematic, but it made me think like, how many butts have you seen in a Disney movie before? Probably this.
I'm going to have to go back to my butt count and see.
Put it on the board here. That's one. There's a little girl that's crying during that scene, and I was convinced it was Tommy Pickle, the person who plays Tom. It sounded just
is
excellent because I heard
Tommy
that
Pickles.
voice, and I was like, Tommy Pickles somewhere.
E.G. Daily, it just says additional voices,
Excellent.
but she is definitely on IMDb.
I know that E.G. I know that voice when I
Yep.
hear it.
Sure
Well
enough.
done, dude. How many
Good job.
credits does E.G. Daily have? Probably 1,000. Like there's no
If
end.
Wallace Shawn has 216, she's
He's
got to
putting up-
have like
putting up
triple it.
crazy numbers.
So if we can get into the voice actors,
yeah.
because she is phenomenal.
Yep.
Then we have Jim Cummings. He's the voice of Pete. And over 600 other roles in movies and video games. You
That's
already brought up Darkwing Duck.
insane.
Guess who is Darkwing Duck?
Wow.
Jim Cummings. He's also Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, the Tasmanian Devil, Ed the Hyena from Lion King.
Wow.
From his website, Cummings' uncanny ability to sing in character and voice match for stars who are, in his words, great actors, just not great singers, has led to many platinum and gold records for soundtracks like Anastasia, The Lion King, Fox and the Hound,
Oh, brother.
Pocahontas, Hercules, and more. He was also AC, the lead singer of the famed California Raisins.
Wow.
And this blew my mind. Jeremy Irons is the voice of Scar in Lion
Yes.
King. Not when he sings.
Wow.
That is Jim Cummings.
And he was also the
Also the hyena.
Wow.
But when he is singing,
that's crazy.
like, be prepared.
Yes.
That is
No
Jim
idea.
Cummings, not Jeremy Irons.
You
and
could-
I'm listening to it going,
No.
that's definitely Jeremy Irons.
Yes, 100%.
It is not. So
Crazy.
Crazy.
I wonder if when those guys at that level or voiceover artists do they come in the room like, bitch, out of my way, here comes Winnie the Pooh. Like you
I
must
think
have
so.
to, a little bit have to like, smell yourself.
Well,
a bit.
look at like Family Guy and Seth MacFarlane.
Yes.
He does all these voices. He can also sing.
Yes.
I don't want to say he's full of himself.
There's got to be a little bit of that.
He might be a
Stewie,
little full of
easy,
himself.
yeah.
And then we have Rob Paulson as the voice of PJ. You know who else he voiced, Nick?
Who?
Raphael in the 1987
Oh my
Teenage Ninja
God.
Turtle
Wow.
cartoon. And he's Pinky from Pinky and the Brain. These voice actors, I don't know how they do it. I have one voice. It's not great. These guys.
I haven't even mastered this voice
Wow.
yet, let alone
Wow.
600 others. That's crazy. We're early in the movie, and I feel like the hot takes are just kind of rolling along. After they do the Powerline stunt, it's established that Roxanne likes Max.
Seems to be that way.
So I said, we're done. It's 15 minutes. The movie's over. You did your stunt. Roxanne likes you.
Yeah.
What more to this movie is there? I mean,
Well, Goofy takes him away. Sorry.
but even still, you could be like, she already likes you. You like her. Like, let's lock it up. All right, I go on vacation. I'll be back.
It does
See
seem
you in a
weird.
bit.
He's like, I gotta go out of town. She's like, oh, I get it. I'll just, I guess, try and find
Like,
someone
no,
else.
we already established
He's like,
we like each
someone
other.
else? What do you mean? Like, is this a make or break
Right,
moment?
right.
Summer is just starting, to my knowledge.
Just
Isn't
one
that
day into
when
it.
romance begins?
I mean, that was my understanding.
I've never had that, but I hear good things about summers.
I think almost the tweak I would have made was it's still left unsaid, so that's why it makes the whole leaving for summer all the more dramatic. But
It seems weird.
Who am I to adjust a movie?
She's
that's
just,
30
she's
years
14.
old? Yeah.
She's like, oh, well, if I can't see you tomorrow, then piss off.
This is over. Dad surprises Max, says, just like my parents, just like my dad did, we're gonna go on a fishing trip 5 minutes before they leave, and off they go. And this, I started at the beginning, I said, I may side with Max here, and because this is a weeks-long fishing trip. Not only
Do they say how long?
it is referenced. They said they made it. I swear he said weeks long, or like it's gonna be, or maybe Max.
But weeks plural?
That's what he said.
Because if you're driving cross country,
It's a week there and a week back, I'd imagine.
Yeah, this isn't like a few day thing.
No.
They're spending many nights at different places.
Yes.
They're camping.
For sure, this is a 2-week trip.
You're not just like driving all day, sleep in a motel, wake up, drive all the next day.
No.
It seems like there's a lot going on.
There is. And Goofy telling him 5 minutes before they're leaving, bad form. As much as I'm going to back him on this, bad form.
Max couldn't even pack his own clothes.
No. Most kids are probably going to be like, not only are we going on a trip, but we're fishing. They're probably going to be, they're understandably going to be like, no, thank you.
Were you like a let's go fish type of guy?
I did go fishing, but if my dad would have said, we're going on a 2-week fishing trip, I'd probably be like, it's summer. I want to stay with my friend. Yeah, this is a bummer to me.
Yeah.
So I get it. I understand. So Max tells Roxanne he'll be gone for the party. Makes up the lie that he's going to the Powerline concert. That he's going to be on stage just out of desperation. Just
I'm
to
not
make her
going to
still
be
like
here,
her.
but I'm going to be at the concert you're going to be watching on TV.
Right,
Because
so-
my dad knows him. That is...
Sure.
That's like 8 leaps in one.
Immediately.
If this were a long jump, that's a world record.
We're in the car on the road trip. We're getting all these moments happening. Goofy not looking at the road when he's trying to film him.
Reckless.
Dangerous. Goofy suggests to Max, let's play a guessing game. Is it a man or a woman? He says, oh man, a man, that's a toughie. I said, well, if he would have said woman, would have been easier. I don't understand. Like, let's.
He must have had someone in mind. And then
He
the
definitely
answer is
did.
Walt Disney.
It's Walt Disney every time. That's
Yeah.
your answer.
Great.
Especially if you're a Disney character, I think.
Guess
safety.
what? Not tough. Got that one guess.
Yep. I like the scene of them switching the radio back and forth, on and off. You know,
And
standard.
the tape
standard
gets destroyed.
They destroy the tape. They're one tape.
Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna make for a long 2 weeks in the car. As they're driving, they break out into another musical number, and they pass a car with a big lady and a small guy, in their part of the song says they're off to relax and for the romantic episode. And naturally,
I did not see that.
I coiled. I was like, oh no! And I think that's the point. Is that supposed to be gross?
Sure.
In our trivia and facts we'll get into, they had their own subplot that got cut. There's so many. There's subplots in this movie that we'll just never know of. That
maybe if this movie were a little longer, we could have.
You could have bought more time for this movie. It's a short movie. Yeah. We could.
Oh man, what could have been?
What could have been? So then Max and Goofy pull over for the night. They go and see a show. Another hot take. I would absolutely pay money to go see the Possum Posse Jamboree. That was an excellent show. I'm fully on board.
And that is a take on the Country Bears,
Yes.
like making fun of it, very tongue in cheek.
Yeah, poking fun at themselves.
Which is funny that like they're acknowledging maybe this isn't the greatest show in the world.
Agreed. Or that's out of date.
The possum's gross. He wants to hug everyone.
Yep.
Even to this movie's credit, and I'm totally contradicting just in it for Powerline.
That's what we're here for.
But they are leaning hard into like, look how fun this is, and Max is really disappointed.
Yep.
He ends up like shoving the possum character
Oh yeah,
over.
he like actually socks him.
There's a lot going on, but it's still kind of funny.
Mm-hmm. My life's a living hello. There's the one risque joke in the movie. Yeah. There's parts I'm laughing for sure. They're at the Possum Posse Jamboree. They get made fun of, and now Max is back to hating the trip again. But this is where they run into Pete and PJ randomly on their trip. And PJ tells Max the whole town knows what's going on. Again, is there a 90s movie where something happens and the whole town doesn't find out immediately? It's always Little Giants. It's always going to happen. The town knows.
But do you think it's just because they're young, so their frame of reference, like if 3 friends knows, well, that's everyone.
100%. And everyone, when you're young, if something's happening to one friend, I got to tell everyone.
Right.
So I get it. So it rings true. But if this is a small town, you better believe your business, your laundry's getting aired. They're bowling on top of the RV, Pete and Goofy, and Pete misses a pin. He makes PJ knock the last pin, and then after doing so, he psychs him out of a high five. Pete.
Just
You're
total
a capital
dick
A
move.
asshole.
Yeah, it was a total dick move.
I don't think he ever had a history of not being a dick, but he's letting it be known, right? He's despicable.
There are some movies where you really enjoy disliking characters. Mm-hmm. I don't even like disliking him. He just sucks through and through. I don't need any part of it like, keep him under your thumb, goof. Just stop talking. Stop talking.
May I say, you inform me you can only do one voice. That is now Pete, you did? Rodney Dangerfield on this season? Like
all poorly.
I think you've got a budding career.
I can do many voices poorly.
Okay, that's fine.
Including my own.
Yeah. One of the lines I wrote down was, Dad, I don't even know how to fish. He said, that never stopped me. And I said, As a dad,
Probably true.
As a dad who doesn't know anything, I love the representation of an idiot dad. I'm here.
True.
Goofy. This might be why I side with him so much. I understand.
You're like, don't let that stop you.
You and me goof. Sometimes we're just in situations and we're just like, listen, I don't know what I'm doing.
Every
Neither
day's
do
a
you.
mystery.
That's what makes life fun. And so we get our Bigfoot cameo. He crashes the fishing trip. They're stuck in the car all night because he chucks the keys.
Oh, who does? Goofy, you idiot. Bigfoot comes in, you lose your keys, and you're like, well... And so I try to keep track of how many moments where Max is literally saving the day. Like pulling his dad in the car so he doesn't get impaled by Bigfoot.
Sure.
By rescuing him from the dugout of the baseball game.
Yep.
By using the fishing pole, using a cast he's never ever done before to rescue him over a waterfall, which Goofy caused in the first place. There is...
Yeah, Max, Goofy's
no
got a
shortage of issues.
He owes Max big time. Or he just doesn't even realize how big of an idiot he is. He's goofy. He's goof. What can you do? But I will say in one area he's not goofy in, which is when they're stuck in a car, he surely knows how to cook soup with a cigarette lighter. Good on you. Because if I was stuck in that situation, we'd be eating cold soup. I would not even think. And plus, my car doesn't have a cigarette lighter.
Hi, Dad soup?
Hi, Dad soup. A nice little moment there.
Yeah. That's about it. He can make soup. Good for you.
But it's Hi Dad soup. It's Hi Dad soup. Goofy falls asleep in the car and he wakes up. Max is he's mapping out the path to California. Mm-hmm. And Goofy wakes up and in his sleep deprived or in his sleep talking state, he says, "How many cups of sugar does it take to get to the moon?"
Yeah.
Max says 3.5.
True.
Immediately back to sleep.
I Googled that too.
Yeah.
If you just Google how many cups of sugar does it take to get to the moon, it's all referencing that movie. So it's not from anything else.
No.
The internet says 8,750,000 cups.
Oh, so it's, not far off, but...
Another site says over 700 pounds. I don't even get that. If you stack them, the energy required...
There's a lot of questions
I don't think you can look too hard into it.
It's 3.5.
I think 3.5 is the best answer.
That's a fair guess, especially in the middle of your sleeping.
How many cups to get to the moon? 3.5 will do ya.
Start there. And I said, as someone who talks in their sleep, this is perfect. Just it's nonsense. Oh yeah, I've been told several times by Jen all the things that I've said randomly in my sleep.
Perfect.
And it's just a comment or a random non sequitur, and then I'm out.
I hope you talk about sugar and going to the moon.
If I go to sleep tonight and I wake up,
please.
It's getting embedded in my head. And then I go to the restaurant. This is where Goofy announces to the restaurant that he's putting Max in charge of the map now. That the restaurant's excited for this. I thought they wouldn't give a shit.
No.
I thought they'd just turn around and go back to their
Far
lunches.
from it. They are so
like,
stoked.
all right, good for him. All right, we're on board.
This is another issue that I have.
Please.
It doesn't matter what is marked on the map.
Right.
The whole rest of the movie.
That's true.
Pete is like, check the map, Goof.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because Goofy was letting him decide where to go. Mm-hmm. He literally says, you can pick all the stops from here to Lake Destiny. They have no timeline. You don't know how long you're going to be gone for. It doesn't seem like they have reservations anywhere.
No.
So even if you stop in LA, Max could have easily said, yeah, I wanted to stop here on the way to Lake Destiny.
Yeah.
And instead, they have this moment where there's a fork in the road.
That's a very intense moment.
Do we go the way that I know we need to go? Or do I turn left?
And I know what you're doing right now, so do that.
Goofy could have easily just turned right and been like, I know what you're doing, man.
Yeah.
Nice try. Your old dad still,
there's no drama
still
there.
got it.
There's no drama there.
He just sits there fuming, and Max is like, oh, are you mad or something? What's going on, Dad?
Hey, let's do the guessing game. I'm a man.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can go wherever you want. You flat out told your son, pick where you want to go. And guess what?
He did.
When you did that, you seem to be having a lot more fun.
So you're saying, Goofy, don't be mad at Max. Be mad at yourself.
Maybe a little bit.
Okay.
You went on roller coasters. So in some ways, he's a good dad. He's along for the ride. In other ways, he is completely incompetent.
Yeah. I will say he's a better man or a better dad than me because I would like you to give me one instance where you would say, children, here's the map. Tell us where we're going. I wouldn't do that if it was for 5 minutes away.
To your 14-year-old? Maybe.
Maybe. I certainly would be like, all right, so let's just circle back. Let's just circle back on this. Like, you sure we're going where you say you're going?
This sounds like a time capsule situation where you have a map.
I will see you
bust it out
in 6 years.
And
when maps are completely they're obsolete.
She pulls out her iPhone 25.
And she goes, leave me alone. Please stop talking.
That's
to me.
right.
Yeah.
And
Wholesome.
then you'll be like, just like
Oh,
Goofy.
yuck, we can have high dad soup. But I said this is where the trip all of a sudden becomes awesome. They're going to amusement parks, monster truck rallies. Jim,
Yeah.
your thoughts on? I know you
Can't stand them. Just one of my first one. Hard pass.
I saw how excited they were at the monster truck rally, and I immediately thought of you. I was like, now I know one person in the middle there.
That is a very recent, close to home nightmare.
And also the House of Yarn, just to be the perfect, like, boring dad.
But again, that's Max
Stop.
doing things for him.
That's true.
He's throwing him a bone.
I did think that. Is that a dog joke?
Oh, no.
Okay.
But well done, me, on accident. So both of them do help each other out, where they
Yin
go,
and yang.
you look disappointed. How about I do this for you? There are sacrifices being made by both sides. And I think that's how you can tell this is so wholesome.
Yep.
It's not other movies where it's like one person is a jerk the entire movie, and at the very end they kind of come to terms. There are glimpses of hope throughout.
Right.
They're getting along. They're changing tires together.
True.
Oh, shocker, Goofy messes it up again. It explodes off, but somehow it works out okay, and they're like, this is great. So
Stand
fine.
up.
They're doing it together.
Yeah.
Good for you guys.
That's a good...
You come a long way.
If Goofy's getting what he wanted, he wanted the wholesome family road trip, and they're getting
Yes, he did,
getting in
Nick.
spades. And this is where they end up in the hotel that's like the mermaid theme, and they get the beds that are water beds with goldfish in them, which on the face of it seems like an incredible idea.
It does.
Until you realize, how are we feeding them or cleaning this thing?
Have you ever slept on a waterbed?
I will inform you that I, for years, had a waterbed.
Did you really?
At my dad's house, yes. When I would stay there, it was
Wasn't
a
it
waterbed.
cold?
It was cold. It did get very cold. And then when it was hot, you'd be like stuck to it. It was one of those good ideas on paper.
Yes.
Not. And then imagine
That
if
was my question.
imagine if you popped a hole in that bad boy. See you later.
Yeah.
Your whole day is ruined.
Wow. All right. Thank you. Because
I
I've
will-
always wondered. Never slept on a waterbed.
And if you just like to just constantly be wiggling around,
And I do not.
No, so you would hate it. Yeah, it's
Perfect.
not ideal. It's a very 90s thing.
Okay.
Not too many waterbeds still kicking around down at the mattress stores around town. No.
I wonder. Like Facebook Marketplace.
Oh my God, that would be an incredible deep dive to see who's selling their waterbeds in the year
Get one.
2024.
Let's get one.
And I will say, you can say what you want. You can like this movie. You
I'm
can
going
say it's
to.
a cult.
I'm going to say whatever I want.
The pizza scene in this movie is probably an Mount Rushmore pizza scene for movies.
Agreed.
Between Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, pizza's never looked better. It looks delicious, and it makes me want to have it.
It's like cheese soup.
It's completely
But it
fallen
looks,
off of it. Yes.
It makes you want to
You
get
want
a
a slice.
pizza.
You want a slice of that pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is, to your point, this is where we get a Pete informing Goofy.
He's no good.
You better check that map, because I hear that Max is.
And where's the
sabotaging
mom in
trip.
that situation, too? Do moms not exist?
They don't exist. No moms.
Because Roxanne, she's got a single dad, too.
That's
what the hell
true.
is happening?
What's going on, Miss
Where are all
Tom?
the moms?
That's the spinoff I want.
Oh my
is
God.
Where all the moms, they all hopped in a van and they went on their own trip.
This is an alternate universe. This is like the multiverse. If moms didn't exist,
Yes.
this is what happens.
This is it. A Goofy movie.
Holy cow.
Look what happens.
Disaster.
Disney.
I mean, some good,
Some good.
but not great.
They hit the fork in the road. Goofy is hoping that Max does the right thing, and he doesn't. And then
No.
they pull off the side of the road, park the car, in quotes,
Yeah, but they don't.
and then Max leans on the car and sends it careening down the highway. During them trying to save the car, they're fighting the whole way down. Max informs him, I'm a grown-up. I have my own life now.
Not true.
Max, you are 14 years old.
Yep.
Take a breath,
Pump
my
the
friend.
brakes a bit.
Pump. I
You
wish
should've.
There's two. I wish that'd be happening multiple times. Goofy, for all intents and purposes, when it comes to some movies that we review, where the dad is either he's the lovable guy who's trying his best, or he's the idiot asshole doesn't care. He's that argument, that conversation where he says, "I have my own life now." I was waiting for him to be like, "I'm a grown up. I have my own life." If you're so grown up, then move on. That was a
Yeah.
prime setup, like just a
No.
big swing, and he doesn't. He takes a lot of just like, all right, like he rolls with the
I
punches.
think the line is, I know that, I just want to be a part of it.
Exactly.
And I was like,
that blew my
oh
mind.
my God.
Could you imagine?
That's probably the best line in the movie
It's
from
a-
him.
it's a big
As
one.
a dad, I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh, I need to tuck
Save-
that one away for later.
Noted. The guilt folder.
Works like a charm.
They're going down the river. His car is completely waterlogged. Time for a song. Like he is nonplussed.
Unflappable. He can't be flapped.
His ears are flaps. He's unflappable. Like he rolls with the punches
It's
very
wild.
well. And then he becomes fully on board to hit the Powerline concert. Yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna get you on stage.
It's a very quick turnaround.
Just on a dime, he's ready. He's on board. He says, "Let's do it." And
Probably because Max saved his life for the 25th time.
This is one of those things.
And he's like, "Oh, sorry. What do you want to do? I guess we better go do it."
We were watching Mulan recently. It's one. Oh,
I'm getting all excited.
we were watching Mulan recently. It's one of those things where she saves the one general, and then when they find out she's a girl, he's supposed to cut her head off, and he goes, "A life for a life." So maybe it's a life for a life situation.
Maybe. But that doesn't make sense either, because they're like suspended in the air with a makeshift parachute, which I can only assume is just like a tarp that they had over all their camping equipment. First off, the strength of this fishing line has got to be incredible. I don't know if they're going deep sea fishing or whatever, but wow. They're both hanging there in the air, and it's just like, let's go to a concert.
Time
they magically appear. I am going to just say, though, maybe you don't need to have the backstory of how do we sneak inside? How do we do whatever? At first, I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking, okay, the point is they need to get in the concert. Mm-hmm. They're in the concert. So here's where the struggle begins. They got to run around the bouncer or whatever, the security guard. True. They see a woman changing, but also they just kind of like end up on stage, there's smoke, and they roll with it.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. Again, maybe if they had more time, I could have heard the whole song. But
just hang around for just another minute. We're almost there.
I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm fine with them just jumping ahead, no explanation. Mm-hmm. Just, we're here, deal with it.
Yeah. As soon as they get home, Max says she'll probably never talk to me again. You knew from the beginning she liked you, bud. Like, listen to your heart.
Also, you promised her that you were going to be on stage, and you were.
Seems like you checked all the boxes.
Yeah.
Friend. But she informs him, I already liked you. I still like you. Like,
just stop lying.
Just stop.
Idiot.
Hey, Goofy. The message of this movie is just everyone just be yourself. Goofy, be Goofy. Max, you be Max. Roxanne will still like you. Max lays a kiss on Roxanne. I said, you know how I feel about this. Not could have done without. Could have done without that. Kiss on the cheek still works for me. And then Goofy crashes on the porch. Car explodes. End of movie.
Yeah, end scene.
Hour 18. Hit me with Powerline.
There you go.
I had an answerable question for you. Now, typically, our topic is unanswerable questions.
Yep.
The answerable question I have for you, I said, the whole movie is predicated upon Goofy is embarrassing Max. I said, which Disney character would you want for a dad, or do you think would make the best dad? If you
cartoon
could do any. I'll take any.
Oh boy, I mean, you already know how I feel about Rick Moranis.
That's true. He's
a father figure.
He's always been there for us.
Splinter,
I would say
Splinter's pretty
Splinter's
good.
wise. He's not Disney though.
No.
let's say Disney cartoons if we can. Any come to mind? I mean, Mickey. I'd imagine Mickey would be a decent dad.
I don't know.
No? You think there's something behind the scenes going on there? I said Simba.
I don't trust him with those gloves and 3 fingers. What's he trying to hide?
What kind of bathroom situation's going on there? Simba, I said. Wise, will protect you, show you the ropes.
I mean, I think I'm struggling because how many dads can you think of in Disney cartoons?
It's a
lot of moms.
And when I pulled up a list of characters, it was definitely like 70-30 moms to dads.
You got basically Mr. Incredible?
Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't even know anyone
else.
listed
dads you may not want. Pete.
Oh,
Donald Duck, I think, would be a pain in the ass for a dad.
He's more of an uncle.
He's definitely an uncle. He's always stressed and yelling. I said Hades from Hercules. Probably not ideal.
Probably not. I mean, there really aren't many dads.
No.
It's a lot of orphans.
So maybe this is an unanswerable question.
Great point, Nick.
I'll add it.
Maybe we should just be happy with what we got.
So not a lot of trivia and facts in the way of casting. The only one I found was in early production, Steve Martin and Jim Varney, also known as Ernest, considered to voice Goofy.
And Slinky Dog.
But that's it for casting.
That's
all I found. The trivia and facts, however, was overwhelming.
Many.
Start us off.
Powerline's a mixture of Bobby Brown, Prince, and Michael Jackson.
Excellent.
I had a hot take of, all right, dads, if you feel like you are being withdrawn from your child or they are withdrawing from you, do not, under any circumstance, take them on a road trip. It is not going to work.
It's too much time together.
However, name a movie where it doesn't work.
That's true.
Mitchell's vs. the Machine.
That's true.
And so the inspiration for this film came from Jeffrey Katzenberg, the chairman of Walt Disney Studios at the time, who was feeling distant from his daughter. he decided to go on a road trip with her that brought the two closer together. You get a lot of
1,000.
stuff in the middle,
Yep.
but it never doesn't work.
It's true.
It's always you end up
You
seeing
end up there.
eye to eye, Nick.
All right. Play the credits. Agreed.
Just play the song, please.
Donald Duck originally had a larger role where he played a travel agent.
I saw that too.
Goofy asks him, "What do you think I should do?" And Donald responds incoherently. And Goofy responds, "What did you say? Is there someone else I can talk to?" That's me. It's not a much larger role, but evidently that's some of their banter back and forth.
This was another one I saw.
Mm-hmm.
The song Eye to Eye is spelled capital I, number 2, capital I. So it looks like 121.
Yeah, I don't like that.
That's just stupid. The song,
Don't like
way
that. Or it
better.
just looks like a number 2 in brackets. No,
right.
Not a fan
I don't
of
like
no.
that.
Pauly Shore asked for his role to be uncredited, like Robin Williams in Aladdin, because he didn't want Disney to sell the movie on his name.
Yeah, so many people would have done that.
And also, what is the problem with that?
Name a Pauly Shore movie.
Encino Man.
Okay.
And he's wheezing the juice.
Biodome. It's just like, you are giving yourself a lot of credit, Pauly.
Do you think the thought was he didn't get paid a lot for it, so now he's saying don't use my name? Like what downside is there to them using your name?
I don't know.
And also similarly, the Robin Williams request, like, I don't know. I guess I'm missing the thinking there.
I really don't know.
Yeah.
Having said that, do I remember the Leaning Tower of Cheesa?
Yes.
Yes, I
you certainly
do. But other than that, he's not prominently featured.
No, and maybe that's
Some
why I said listen.
He's just Pauly Shore.
He's just Pauly Shore. Pauly Shore could be in and out of any movie at any time in the 90s because it's just like he's gonna say he's
fine.
He's sucking either some juice or like cheese or like a squishy
whippet.
something, and then he's in and out. Like he's just Pauly Shore. You don't need much explanation.
No, if he's there, fine. If he's not, fine.
Yes, exactly.
It's just whatever. Here he is again.
And I'll have you know, Pauly Shore improvised much of his dialogue.
I did see that.
In case you thought it was...
no, that seems to check out. It didn't seem like there was much of a script for him.
But we do have some drama here.
Oh?
There was a 4K restoration done of the movie, supervised by director Kevin Lima, a year before the movie was released on Disney+. During the restoration, it was discovered that the file was only 2K, Jim. Resolution matters.
Yeah. It does.
Boo on you.
There's stories like that with Disney too, where I think it was Toy Story 2 or something, where someone was working on it at home and they lost the
hard drive.
file, and it was like this was the only copy they had, that they were so close to years and years of work being wiped away. Yikes!
Let me speak on behalf of anyone who uses a hard drive. Don't ever trust an external hard drive. Never. Always get a backup. Always have a backup, friends. Some trivia for you.
Good.
The name PJ.
Yeah.
Do you know what it stands for?
Pete Jr.
Pete Jr.
I did not know that though prior to looking at this.
It seems so easy, but at the time when I saw it at first, I was like, "Oh, really? That's it? It's just Pete Jr." Okay.
But some other we've talked about some movies weaving in and out. Jason Marsden.
I thought
I want to say James. They're not related.
I did the same. Oh, they're not. Oh, I just assumed they were.
So. I don't think they are.
All right.
If I'm wrong, then it's not the first time.
Call in, callers.
But he's the voice of Max, and he's the voice of Thackeray Binks in Hocus Pocus, the cat in Hocus Pocus.
Wow.
That's
the
him.
voiceover work in this movie.
Way to go. And then Bill Farmer, who is the voice of Goofy, says he recorded for the movie off and on for close to 2 years. That doesn't seem shocking. I mean, when you hear about every word and cadence and like intonation they have to do for every movie and how long it takes, it does sound painstaking, where you're like sitting in a phone booth just recording the same word for hours on end. Yeah. So, okay, I would buy that.
I did see this movie is one of the few that they all recorded together.
Oh, really?
All the cast was together when they recorded.
I would think that would make things easier.
I would think so too. But so those two things also, I wonder about those two. And one of the other trivia and facts I found was that line, how many cups of sugar does it take to get to the moon? He had to do many times to get to nail it just right, Jim.
Yeah. Well, in the animation back then too, I wonder what they did first. Like, are you saying it? And
so they did the music first. I did see that as another trivia. All the music was done, and then they did the movie.
But I wonder, are they like animating it, and then the voice actors have to say the lines to match up to it? Because it's all by hand back then still, right?
A lot of time you can see that sometimes behind the scenes footage where the screens they're looking at are like storyboards,
right?
Where they can just kind of get an idea of what's happening, or sometimes it is like an animation that they're still touching up. So Again, this is we need the behind the scenes footage here.
Okay.
The panel for the 20th anniversary celebration at the 2015 D23 Expo in Anaheim was number 1 in attendance and audience satisfaction, beating out other events with George Lucas getting honored as a legend. The auditorium held 500 people for this movie, and they had to turn away several hundred others. This movie.
Suck it, Ebert.
You were just referencing hard drives that have issues and things with movies. 3/4 of the movie had to be refilmed, pushing the release date beyond the initial Thanksgiving 1994. In the early days, you'd set up a camera looking at a large monitor, and you would film that monitor. The director, Kevin Lima, explains. One of the pixels was blown out, and every single scene in the movie had a black dot in it. So they filmed it all. Noticed that later.
You filmed animation?
So I think at that time, they animated it, and then there was a monitor, and they filmed the monitor.
Wow.
Yes. And so then they go back and see a burnt out pixel, and they go, let's take it from the top. Holy shit. I get upset if I have to re-edit things with this podcast.
Right.
I could imagine a movie that took you years would be a nightmare. And especially when you're up against money and execs and release dates. Holy shit. Director Kevin Lima's goal was to make a John Hughes movie in animation form. Huh. Do you feel he did that, Jim? I don't think so. I'm not even saying for better or worse, but I don't know that I would say this is The Breakfast Club, an animated Breakfast Club, or 16 Candles.
But does it end wholesomely?
Mm-hmm. And they go through struggles. So I guess if you're just saying a movie with heart that has its own struggles in it, the dichotomy between two people in their relationship. I mean,
sure. We're part of the way there.
Yeah. And the director from Turning Red, the recent Pixar movie, said she used this as inspiration.
In what way?
The teenagers kind of going through adolescence, like dealing with their own struggles. I mean, the parents are different. The parents are different. But I think it's more about there's a kid kind of like trying to find themselves and find their own voice. Definitely different parents. And then also a concert.
So Max was about to have his period.
I mean, there's an extremely goofy movie, the sequel. Who knows? I've never seen it.
I haven't seen it. All right, well, maybe we'll learn more.
Next season.
Okay.
Director Kevin Lima used the film to work through his feelings with his own father, who left when he was 12.
Oh, yikes.
He didn't see him again until 20 years later after he directed Tarzan. So, one of Powerline's original names was Deep Freeze. I think Powerline's a better name.
Powerline's better. Deep Freeze sounds like a Batman villain.
Or the guy in Incredibles.
Frozone, yeah.
Instead of being produced by Walt Disney Feature Animations, it was developed at a separate company. So that's why at the beginning it says a Disney movie tune, because it's not like officially like a Walt Disney movie. Yeah. So if you think like, oh, this movie feels different than other Disney movies, maybe that's why.
And I didn't look this up, but I can't think of many movies where like the OG Disney characters have their own movie.
Yes.
Like Mickey is in A Christmas Carol,
right,
or they'll do a version of it.
Right.
I can't think of a script where they're like, all right, this is the character, and we're creating a story around them.
Yeah.
So to Goofy's credit, I think kudos to him.
Yeah.
It works.
So earlier I referenced the big woman, small guy in the car. Yeah. A removed subplot including the big woman, Trini, and nebbish man, Wendell, from On the Open Road song, as they would show up throughout the road trip. One scene had Goofy accidentally getting hooked onto their car and dragged through a bridge and other things. Early in production, there was a running gag where Trini would inadvertently get beaten up through Goofy's antics. It was quickly dropped for being unfunny and misogynistic after reviewing the first demo reel.
Okay.
Sequels, prequels, spinoffs, and such.
This movie is what I found is a full-length animated feature film related to Goof Troop.
Then they have the extremely goofy movie afterward.
Yes, they do. And I found that it says the characters that return for the sequel were Goofy, Max, PJ, Pete, and Bobby. Roxanne and Stacy are absent from the sequel and are not referenced. In the film, Goofy loses his job and enrolls in the college which Max recently started attending. The back-to-school situation. Rodney Dangerfield, are you listening?
Oh, God.
While Max and his friends participate in the X Games, unaware of the reason why the school's top fraternity has a dynasty in the competition.
This is an adult theme for a Disney movie. I don't need fraternities and sneaking around with the TA. Yeah, I don't need that.
For some TNA. You never know where this is going.
No.
So I ask you, is it appropriately reviewed or rated or reviewed? What are your thoughts?
Before I answer that, I ask you something, Nick.
Nope.
Dead or alive?
Bill Farmer, who plays Goofy.
I believe the last time we played, everyone was alive, so I really feel like you're going to try to bring me down this game.
Why would I do that?
Yeah, why would you? He is alive.
Yep.
All right.
71 years old.
Okay.
Bill Farmer. Still goofing
a
it
legend.
up. Tevin Campbell, who played the voice of Powerline.
He has passed.
How dare you?
Oh, Tevin.
47 years old,
he's
going
young.
strong.
So he must have been really young.
He was
when
a
they
young
did that.
buck. I
Like
did some
18 or something.
I did some deep digging on him.
Yeah.
They were really like pushing him. They wanted him to be like an upcoming star.
Okay.
He was gay, didn't want anyone to know. So there was some like controversy because they were flaunting him as like this young heartthrob. And he's like, yeah, actually.
About that.
No. No.
Wow.
But well done. Still eye to eye. Oh,
And I
love
wonder,
that song.
I wonder if you would have interviewed kids at that age and been like, do you think this is Michael Jackson? I think 9 out of 100 would have said, yes, this is
I
Michael
always
Jackson
took
singing
it
the
as
song.
like Prince, but then
Yeah.
he does like a moonwalk thing. But
Yeah.
it's mostly from Goofy.
I mean,
he's just a great
he's great.
hybrid character.
Yeah.
I don't care who he represents.
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah, sure.
We have Frank Welker, who played Bigfoot. Very well, I might add.
I've seen no better Bigfoot. He is passed.
No.
No.
you animal. Alive. 77 years old.
You're gonna hit me with someone who's passed away, and I know it's coming. So just get it over with.
Okay. Rob Paulson, who played PJ.
His name is Robert Paulson.
His name is Robert Paulson.
PJ, he's alive.
Yes, all of them are alive.
Oh,
Nick.
so you've done this to me 2 times in a row.
67 years old. So they had like Wayne Allwine, who played the voice of Mickey, but Mickey wasn't. He was just that one scene.
Yeah.
I didn't think that counted.
No.
Everyone else that I found in the movie alive.
Yeah.
And it was tough too because like Jim Cummings or some of these voice actors that are just in everything.
Yeah.
They're still going strong. I
Crazy.
contend that maybe they never die.
I don't think they'll have to.
I think
With
if you
AI
do voice work,
technology,
they
have enough.
You live on forever.
They have enough subject matter from all the movies and shows that they can just put into an AI. And
right.
you'll never lose them now. So
yeah,
for better
all
or worse.
alive.
So what did you think? Did you think it was rated appropriately? 60. What do we have? A 6.9 on IMDb and a 53, 59.
I think depending on the moment, I am so torn. Again, I still think to this day that maybe 90% of people that watch this don't actually like this movie.
They like
think
Powerline.
It's enjoyable.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that happens that you're really high on or really low on.
Yeah, give me a quote from this movie. You're gonna say
Not really.
Powerline.
Yeah, it's just Powerline.
Yeah.
There's not like a memorable scene or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think, do I enjoy this movie? Yes. But I am more in it for Powerline. Sure. And if you put that song on, you better believe I'm going to be
do the
jamming
moonwalk
out.
The
best that I
banger.
can. The best that my lanky white body can handle, I will be doing that.
That song is a banger.
It's so good.
And to your point, I think it is a lot of the nostalgia that holds this movie up. To your point, I think it's a fine movie. It's good. If someone put it on, I wouldn't be upset.
Fine.
But when you put that movie on, what are you waiting for?
You're
waiting for
the concert.
Yeah.
Just give me the concert. I just love Powerline.
It's so good.
Thank you for listening. Please follow, rate, review, like, and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and tune in next week when we review another cinematic masterpiece from our childhood. Until then, how many cups of sugar does it take to get to the moon?